Hello everyone, Nadezhda here, and in today's lesson we are going to cover the graphical settings of the schedules in Revit. First we are going to learn how to create the different fonts in our schedules, and then we are going to go through the different color settings of the schedules in Revit, and we are also going to learn how to assign different colors to all of the rows in our schedules. So let's begin. As you can see here, I have some schedule that I found in my project. And I go to the schedule, and as you can see, it's a generic schedule with no specific graphical settings to it. So what I first do is I want to change the font of the schedule. So I go to the Appearance tab, and then I choose the text option here. As you can see, you can change the fonts for the title text, header text, and body text. I click on this text, and what we see here is that we have a very limited amount of fonts here available, and this is basically only the default fonts that we have in our Revit file. So I will go out of these settings, and first I will go to some random view and create some new fonts. I go to the Annotate option and to the Text option. And here I go to the Edit type of some random font, it doesn't matter. And I will duplicate the existing one. So let's call this one Arial Narrow 5 mm. For example, I want to have this big one for the title, and I will just call it 5 mm Arial Narrow. I also want it to be in some color, let's say this red one, dark red one, and click OK. I will choose Arial Narrow here. And I will also change this to be 5 mm. Here you can select whether you want it to be bold, italic, and underline. I click OK here. And I will also create one that is for header and one that is for body text. So for header, let's create the full 4 mm one. And I will also keep Arial Narrow, click OK, and change this to be 4, and also change this to be black. I will leave the bold option, and I will also make sure to include that in my text title because I want to obviously be able to see that right away. I will also make sure that that is also visible in this 5 mm one because I don't want to confuse my fonts, and I also add the bold to the name, click OK, and I also create one regular for the body text. I will just use, for example, 2.5 mm Arial Narrow. I will uncheck the bold options, and I will also add the size. I click OK. And now I'm ready to assign these fonts to my schedule. So I go to the Appearance option, and I choose Title Text to be 5 mm Arial Narrow Bold. For header text, I choose 4 mm, and for body text, I choose this final one that we have created, and I click OK. And this is what we get. I will only change the color of this 2.5 one because I forgotten to update this red one, so I go to that setting again and I click OK. And this is what we get. We can go now to some sheet and we can just add the schedule to it, and let's just move it somewhere here so it is not clashing with our plans. And this is what our schedule looks like now. We have updated the fonts and it is already looking a lot better. I will just remove this room function field. I don't need it in the schedule. I click OK. And by the way, if you're interested in learning how to create the room schedules and all of these settings, I will add the link in the description below of that lesson. And once we have created all of that, once we see how it looks like, the next thing we can do is actually update the colors. When it comes to the title and these titles of the parameters, there is option of shading. You can select this row and you can click on shading, and you can choose some color that you want to have as the color of your title. We click OK, and as you can see now we get this orange here, and you can also do the same for this row. You can select the first column of this row, and you can also select the last one holding Shift key on your keyboard. And then you can go to the shading option, and you can also apply some different color to this row as well, and click OK. And now, as you can see, once we go here, we also have these colors as well. But for these ones, when we select them, we can see that the shading option is frozen. That is because for these regular rows, we cannot add the colors the same way. The shading option is only applicable to the title and to this header. The rest of the settings now go for the columns, that mean for parameters. So if you want to add some color to the column, what you do is go to the formatting option. You choose the column that you have. For example, my first one is number. So here I can choose the conditional format option. And here I basically choose how I want to approach these settings. So in my case, what binds together all of these rows, what is actually some easiest rule that I could think of is actually area being greater than 0. So I choose area is greater than 0. And I also apply some color, let's say, for example, some bluish, grayish one, and I click OK. I click OK once again, and now we have this column that has this color. I go here and I can see now how it looks like. And this is basically what we do for each of these. If I want to apply this color to any of these parameters, I can go to the formatting and then just choose this parameter, let's say name, and then go to the conditional format, and I can do this same rule, or I can just think of some other rule that I want. To me, the easiest setting is just choosing area is greater than 0 and then choosing these parameters. I will just add some different colors to the rest of these so everything is a little bit more colorful. And that is how I will do for everything else. And I will just fast forward this so you don't have to watch me do this same thing for each of these parameters. I simply go to the formatting, I choose the conditional format, and I do the rest the same as I did before. And now we can see what our schedule looks like on the sheet. We can see that we have successfully updated all the fonts and we have successfully updated all the colors. And here we basically color filled the entire schedule with the colors that we want. And to exercise the conditional formatting, let's say for example that we don't want to have all of these rows color filled, but we actually want to have some specific rows filled depending on their function. Let's use the department parameter for this exercise because that department shows the specific function of each room. So I will go back to the schedule and I will duplicate it so we retain both of these. And I will go to formatting again, and for each of these parameters I will go to conditional formatting and clear all of the formats. This is because I want to return it to the white regular schedule, and then I want to apply the new rules for formatting. And now everything is white, and let's say I want only apartments to be in the different color. I go back to formatting and I will start from the number again and I will click conditional format. And in this case, I will choose the department and I will say department equal to, and I will insert apartments. You have to make sure to type in well here to not have any errors, because this is very case sensitive, and if you make some misspelling error, it will not work anymore. Here I will choose some color, click OK, and I will do this for each of my parameters. I will click on name and I will do the same. Now I will just fast forward this so you don't have to watch me do this for each parameter, because I will obviously be doing the same thing for each of them. Of course, if you want to invert the process, you can also choose the not equal to option as well. I click OK, and now we get only apartments colored in our schedule. This is what it looks like, and you don't have to apply it to each parameter. You can also apply it to just some specific parameters. For example, if you want to color only areas or only names, you can do that as well. And basically all the rulings for conditional formatting works like this. You basically have to find some rule that defines how you will color all of these rows or columns. I will go back to my old schedule, and the next thing we can do to change the appearance of the schedule is we can update the lines. I will go to the additional settings and I will go to the line style option. I will click new to create a new line style, and I will call it, for example, 2 millimeters solid orange line. Click OK. And then here I will first choose the thickness of 2 millimeters, and then I will assign it some orange color, let's say something like this, something darker, and I click OK, OK once again, and here in the appearance I now choose the grid lines to be 2 millimeters solid orange line. I click OK. And now I can see what it looks like. You can of course choose some hidden line or some other type of grid line, but to me it looks the best with solid lines. And this lesson is meant to show you that these schedules actually can be graphically set up to look very good. And this is it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, click subscribe, and if you like my lessons, check out my full beginners Revit course at beamtonic.net. My course is designed to get you ready for working in Revit independently and in bigger teams, and it also trains you to create one entire project by yourself in Revit. Of course, as with other lessons, if anything wasn't clear and if you have any questions, comment below. I answer all of the comments, so thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson. Bye! If you want to learn Revit like a pro, take a look at my architectural course through the link below. You will learn how to develop the project from concept to final design using Autodesk Revit. It is ideal for beginners, but valuable for anyone looking to build a solid foundation. By the end, you'll know how to take a design from concept to detailed documentation with confidence and clarity. You will gain a solid Revit workflow you can actually use independently or in work in larger teams in architectural studios. With almost 100 structured video lessons, it is designed to help beginners master Revit step by step. To support your progress, I've included assignments with each lesson, plus the opportunity to ask questions and receive guidance directly from me whenever you need it. This way, you're not just watching tutorials, you're actively learning, practicing, and improving every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.